I also serve as a volunteer researcher with the ALLATRA Global Research Center. And together, on a volunteer basis, we explore some of the most pressing global issues like climate, geodynamics, and the environment. And the goal is to raise the awareness, encourage open dialogue so that we can move towards real solutions. So today we're beginning a series of conversations focused on one of the least visible, but perhaps most pervasive environmental and public health challenges that's facing us. And we're talking about micro and nanoplastics. These tiny particles are now found virtually everywhere on our planet, from the summit of Mount Everest to the depth of Mariana Trench, and even the remotest regions like in Antarctica and the forests of Pyrenees. And not surprisingly, these plastic particles are now present in our own bodies, and they're entering through the food that we eat, the water we drink, and even the air that we breathe. So this raises some of the fundamental questions, and that is, what happens when these particles enter our bodies, and how do they interact with cells and organelles? And what do we currently understand about the potential consequences to human health, and where should scientific research focus next? So to explore these questions, I would now like to welcome our guest, Dr. Jeffrey Long, who has spent many years in the medical field as a radiation oncologist. Dr. Long, welcome.
Well, thank you. It's sure a pleasure to be here.
So thanks for being here. And so we want to start with kick off things with the first question, and that is, this topic is relatively new, but how did you first learn about, when you first heard about it, what caught your attention? It made you realize that this was something that you should really pay attention to, that we shouldn't ignore about this issue?
Great question. Sure. I first became aware of micro and nanoplastics the way a lot of clinicians do, not from a single headline, but from a gradual accumulation of credible findings that started to feel impossible to ignore. It was years ago I saw those early reports describing microplastics in seafood and bottled water, and at that time I filed it away as an environmental issue. But over time, the data began to move from out there to in here, with detection of these particles in the human stool, lung, blood, and even in the placenta tissue. Now that shifts matters because it reframes this from a distant environmental problem to a direct human exposure question. What really caught my attention was the combination of ubiquity, it's all over, and biologic plausibility. Plastic is not simply inert. Many plastic products contain additives, plasticizers, stabilizers, flame retardants, pigments, you name it. And plastics also can carry chemicals that absorb onto their surface, and when you reduce something to a micro